I don't wanna bend it, I don't wanna sentence, I am on a vengeance, I will not regret it, I am not defenseless, all my friends protected, yeah. We let the enemy get too friendly, now we quarantine like Julian inside the embassy, pray.
What's up, bougie hippie?
Pray, they sitting in their mansions looking at you like pray.
Sylvia, what's going on?
Pray.
Gosling, Mrs. Garza.
Open up the Bible and pray.
Sweet Desiree, how we feeling?
Pray. These rich
Strutting
got you caught in
Susie.
Just like pray.
The Cuban's daughter, what's going on? Chris from NY or something. What's good? Someone said, dang, you shaved. I got a shave for my gulag. I said I need Wi-Fi, a basketball hoop, and I figured I'd shave before I go to the gulags. Someone said, is it true Trump can still win? Yes, it's going to be a long process. I mean, you know, he knows something I don't know. I'll just look at his tweets real quick. Sorry, I'm gonna stop the shout outs for a second. He says something about next week. Let me try to find it. Hold on. I gotta scroll back because he's been on fire today. He says something about like big things coming next week. So I don't feel like you could look at his Twitter. But yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of court processes. There's gonna be courts and investigations, and the question is, will the investigations be legit? Will they actually do their job? What courts will go to? It's not over. So, yeah, he could still win. But the media kind of declared it. What's going on with the hammer and scorecard? At this time, everybody's got to put up or shut up. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like, I heard Sidney Powell. She said something on Fox News. They have to take that to the courts and they have to win. So regardless of what's going on with the voting machines, with the hammer and scorecard, Dominion voting, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there, but they got to, ultimately the process is they got to take it to the courts and they got to win. So, talk is cheap at this point. We've talked, we've heard things. Now they got to do it. But it is, you can actually, if you go to my Twitter or like Parler, I think Mark Levin, however you say it, he posted, you could read Trump's lawsuit. He filed a lawsuit in Pennsylvania with all, what he's talking about. So you could actually read it. It's 100-something pages. I read a few of them. Pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I think he's got a big case in Pennsylvania. I think he's got a big case in Michigan and Wisconsin, Georgia. I mean, we'll see what happens in Arizona. I don't think it's near as older as people think. Someone said, dress like a golf caddy from Portland. Juggle with Phil. That's the best comment so far. Shout out Juggle with Phil. I was gonna say I've shaved and I am kind of dressed like a golf caddy from Portland. Well done. We love a good comment here. All right.
The devil needs it. That's why he won't let it disappear. I told y'all for years.
Will there ever be another fair election? Well, it depends what happens this election. I think I might talk to my buddy. His name is Pasta Jardula. He's like a progressive Bernie guy, but he emailed me and he told me he's trying to fight for fair elections. He gets it. He doesn't like Trump. He likes Bernie Sanders, but he understands if we don't get to the bottom of what's going on now, there is going to be no fair elections. So there's going to be no, progressive candidates that the establishment doesn't want. There's going to be no libertarians that the establishment doesn't want. And there's going to be no, conservatives that the establishment doesn't want. So this is go time for everybody who wants a non-establishment candidate. Unless you're like brainwashed by like Cardi B or something. No offense. I mean, Cardi B's funny, and she's got good music, but like unless you want Mark Zuckerberg to run the planet and George Soros and, it's totally normal for you to have a guy who could barely speak, who's just going to never have to answer questions and just do whatever he wants. If that's what you want, then, knock yourself out. But if you want actual like human being candidates that aren't like propped up by projectors, then, you might want to pay attention.
Celebrities are fake. They chopping.
All right, what's going on, folks? I gotta get some coffee in. Sorry, I slept today. I woke up early. I answered emails. I had to answer like 50,000 emails. Not really, like hundreds of emails. Customer service for my website. I had to give people refunds on the white hat because they sold out. It was a whole to-do. I finished it and I passed out. But here I am. Someone said, but can you handle The Rock? Stop playing with your boy, okay? I challenged Owen Schroyer to one-on-one basketball, and then he got kicked off Twitter. I beat Fleckus in basketball, but we won't talk about that. Shout out my boy Fleckus. I'm here to play anybody one-on-one. I can handle The Rock. It's going down. So any news analyst who wants to go one-on-one with Anomaly live stream basketball, I'm down. Just make it happen. I won't even start with artificial intelligence. Got the evidence. Crystal said, what's with the Jeeps? They have some sort of contract or some sort of deal with Jeep. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, at the Biden thing, it's all Jeeps because it's probably like a setup of some sort. If you look in my friend Cassandra Fairbanks, she she's got the Hunter Biden emails, and there's a lot of Jeep talk in there. I don't know what it is. If they have some sort of deal with Jeep or they got friends with Jeep. I'll tell you this though, because I did something interesting here. I'll get into a fun story. In 2016, when I was more, Bernie Sanders, I didn't like Hillary Clinton. I went to a Hillary Clinton event. I saw it. I just checked the donor list or something. I don't know. I was just looking at events, and I saw there was a Hillary Clinton event in Los Angeles, kind of where I lived. So I went to a Hillary event and kind of just pretended like I was a huge Hillary supporter. I was like, well, let me just go here, see what's going on. It wasn't I wasn't spying or anything at the time. If I would have been like, that's not a good idea. But I was like, let's just see what's going on. So I went to this Hillary event. They almost didn't let me in the door. Some guy who was the mayor or something was like, he's with me. So they got me in. So the point I'm getting to, there's a reason I'm telling the story. I get to the Hillary event, and everybody could sniff out that I'm not a Hillary supporter. It was so weird because I was like, yeah, I'm just here to support Hillary. And all the girls there and stuff were like, why are you here? Maybe I was dressed like a retard, but they were like, why are you really here? And I was like, no, I just like Hillary. I'm like, why are you here? And it seemed like almost no one was there because they just liked Hillary Clinton. It was everyone was there because their work made them go. Everybody was there because, their boss told them to go, or they're working with the company that's working with the Hillary campaign, or they're a donor, or they're a mayor. So you get what I'm saying? No one was there for any other reason besides they had to be there or they were some sort of part of the scheme. So I feel like that's what the Joe Biden rallies are. Why are they all Jeeps? You get what I'm saying? There's a reason I'm saying this. Why are they all Jeeps? They probably have some sort of deal with Jeep. And then everybody who goes and watches the Joe Biden rally is probably paid to be there, or they're involved with Jeep or another company that's involved with the Joe. It's not a real human campaign. Say what you want about Bernie Sanders. I think his politics suck, but he had real humans in 2016, especially. He had real humans supporting him. In 2020, he had a human being movement. Joe Biden, it's all PR. It's all big tech. It's all half the time he's not even really there. It's projectors, and you're where is he? There's a bunch of Jeeps and they're just honking their horns. So you get what I'm saying? It's not that people don't vote for Joe. Some people did, but there is no real movement of people who are obsessed with him. So they do all these weird events with corporate sponsors, and then the people who are there are not at a Trump rally, he doesn't pay anyone to be there. Literally, he didn't pay me. I flew, to Arizona just to go and document and be a part of it. But there's 20,000, 50,000 people. They're having a hard time even letting people in. It's so crowded. At a Joe Biden event, it's Jeep, corporate sponsors. They're not having lines out the door. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot more staged and a lot more corporate. That's the thing. Trump is a real person. Say what you want. He's a real guy. He says real things. He talks shit like your friend on Twitter. He's your boy who just won't, he's talking big shit like your boy. Hillary's not like that. Biden's not like that. They're corporatist, PR, big tech, hide behind Facebook, hide behind, CNN, just don't say too much. We'll line up a bunch of Jeeps. It's a whole fake movement. And now that they're incorporating AI and all this new technology and stuff, it's going to be the last president. It's going to be big tech, Orwellian, you're never going to get an answer. He's going to start more wars. You're going to be locked in your house. They're not going to let you out like they did this year, and you're not even going to be able to question it. Facebook won't let you question it. Twitter won't let you question it. Google won't let you question it. The media won't question it. So you're going to be a slave. And I'm not trying to overhype it, but that kind of happened this year. Trump, you can say whatever you want about Trump. The problem is with the Trump haters is they're so deranged that they never even make sense. They're just making up theories that don't exist. But it's okay to critique Trump, and it should be. But with Biden, you're not going to be allowed to critique. There's going to be no backlash. There's going to be no real journalism. And the problem with the anti-Trump stuff was all the anti-Trump journalism was really just mind control, running you in a million circles. I can name 10 things that I don't agree with Trump on. You'll never hear them on the media because they're not telling you what Trump's actually not doing. They're just making up side theories to piss off Latinos or black people. So people are, and then everyone's running in circles, and then you get away with, no one ever gets held accountable for anything. So you get what I'm saying? If they investigated the Epstein camera as much as they investigated 3 years of Russian collusion, you'd figure out what happened, but they don't actually care. So you get what I'm saying? It's a very fake scheme they have going on. I don't understand how people don't realize it. Maybe people are retarded, and I'm not being mean. I always say this because I know they'll try to kick off my live stream. Retarded is an actual dictionary word. It means the opposite of progressive. I'm a progressive. I'm going faster. I'm retarded. I'm moving slower. It's a great word. So just defending my vocab. Someone said, if you're right, we're no longer free. We're fine. Don't worry. I mean, we're going to be fine. Are you pursuing a lawsuit with Facebook? I guess not. I don't know. I mean, I guess no lawyer wants to take my case, and I kind of understand why. I know the one is taking one with Candace Owens, and once they censored me, they just censored everybody. I mean, they deleted millions of pages, so I feel like a lot of these lawyers are overwhelmed right now, and they don't really know how to attack it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm just kind of making moves and figuring out how to move on. Now my Instagram's got like 400,000, 500,000 views per video and such, so it is what it is. All right. Let's see what. I need some more coffee. I need some water. It's big boy jugs, okay? It's 2020 jugs, no little jugs, big boy. Someone said do it with Candace Owens. Well, it's not like a sleepover. It's not like I could come over and say like, hey, I'm sleeping over your house. You know, like, hey, I'm joining your lawsuit. That's not how it works. So I reached out to Candace. She told me who her lawsuit lawyer was. You know, me and Candace are on a good, what happened to my live stream? Okay. Me and Candace are on a good, we're on good terms. But, she told me her lawyer, I reached out. I think they're busy. So that's not how it works. And I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying, like, you think it's like a sleepover. Like, I could just be like, hey, I'm part of the lawsuit now. Like, I don't know that that's how it works. Maybe they have a, website that you could sign up to or something. But, I'm not like, hey, I'm part of the lawsuit now. They're like, what are you doing, bro? So, they're busy doing their thing. I'll do mine. We'll see what happens. But God bless Candace. Hopefully she wins. And hopefully Facebook has to, curve and stop lying so much. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Lab Trumpista. All right. Gotta stretch. Yeah, I'm not going to be in D.C. Shout out to everybody in D.C. I'm not going to be there. I want to go. I fly from East Coast to West Coast. I'm talking all the way East Coast to all the way West Coast. That's the flight I make the most. So already this year, I've flown East to West multiple times. I just did it. I just went from East to West and here to Arizona, back here. I'm like, and I have to fly back. I'm flying back for Christmas to the East Coast. So yeah, I just don't, I want to go and be part of the whole thing. But I'm like, man, I got to fly back in like 30 days. I'm like, first of all, I hate flying. Second of all, it's a 6-hour flight. I'm not going to make it, but God bless everybody that's there. Do I think Trump will take this? Listen, I think so. I think he understands exactly what's going on. And I think he's known for a while what's going on. So I would hope that he was ready for it. He said it since June. It's not like he made an excuse because he lost. He was like, they're going to do this. I know what they're going to do. So we'll see. He seems very confident. If he's confident, I'm confident. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to be in Washington. It's all good. DJ Element said, I want the white hat because they're sold out. I apologize. Obviously, it's Christmas season. I would have sold thousands of these hats, but yeah, they're sold out. I don't know what's going on with the company. They're like, we can't have new white hats till 2021. I don't understand a lot. I'm like, guys, we're selling white hats like crazy. What do you do besides make hats? Just make more hats. But yeah, no more hats till 2021. I don't know what's going on. I'm over here yelling at the people at Spotify. I'm not yelling at them, but I'm like, what do you mean you have no more hats? What do you? I don't understand that. So they're like, sorry, COVID. It's not COVID. It's you. The virus did not wipe out your threads. They're like, oh, we can't knit anymore. It's like, have you ever seen Happy Gilmore? I want to find that scene. It's with Ben Stiller where she says, my fingers hurt. Do you guys remember that? If anybody's seen Happy Gilmore, she's knitting and they're telling her to knit. And they said, my fingers hurt. He says, oh, your fingers hurt? Well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. That's how I treat them. I'm trying not to be mean, but it's like, your fingers hurt? Well, now, you're going to have a lot more hurt because we're out here. We're losing money out here. So. We got black hats, but it's like they're telling me they're going to sell out of the black hats too. So what am I going to do when they sell out of the black hats? It's like now we're not selling hats anymore. I just got to sell shirts like everyone else. Can't do it by myself, folks. If I don't knit the hats myself, they're not getting made. That's just how the world works. That's why people say, why don't you get an editing team? Why don't you do this? Because things don't get done unless I do them. I edit it. I film it. I got my own lighting. You see this? This is why I look at. See what I'm saying? This makes me look lighter. I do it all myself because if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. So I got to start knitting hats or else I'm not going to sell hats anymore. Someone said if Jesus was a frat boy. All right, let's tone down. I mean, okay, taking shots at your boy. I like the golfer from Portland, the caddy from Portland. Jesus was a frat boy. I don't know. We're reaching, but listen, reaches are available. Keep throwing shots. Eventually, some will stick. When will PA and AZ be called? It's going to be a process. There's going to be recounts. Hopefully, there's audits, and I think when it comes to Pennsylvania, there's a lot of malpractice and things that the Democrats did that were not necessarily federal law. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Arizona's close to almost over, but I don't know the what's going to happen after that. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits and a lot of reveals. Okay, so we'll see.
The swap is coming for kids. It's all in the industry, infiltrating mentally. I don't want the fame. I would rather chill with the.
Did I watch Hannity tonight? No, I don't watch television that often, but actually I don't own one, but sometimes I catch it online. They have a lot of evidence. Here's my thing. I get the dynamic. I'm like you guys. I'm looking for videos. I'm looking for, optimism, but they got the proof. They know what's going on. They understand what's going on with the machines. They understand what's going on with the dead people, addresses, whatever. Now it's time for the courts. I get it. You get it. We get it. Now it's time for, state legislatures and, Supreme Courts and these type of people to get involved because, there's only so much my opinion can really do. Someone said Trump will win AZ, GA, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I don't know. To me, I think he has a good chance in Pennsylvania, but think what you want. We'll see. Have you heard that the DOJ can't get involved until 10 days after the election? Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard that, but I would say Trump said next week. He literally tweeted, if you want me to find the tweet, I'll do it. I'll keep scrolling for you. All right, I have it. Ready? He said, we are making big progress. He used all caps, so he's not joking around. He's like your boy that just screams at you. It's like, bro, you don't need to use all caps, but I love it. He said, we are making big progress. Results starting to come in next week. Make America great again. We will win. He's hella confident. He says next week, big results coming in. Is that because of the DOJ? I don't know why, but these things take time. When he files a lawsuit, it's not like they immediately do it. He just filed a lawsuit, I think, yesterday in Pennsylvania. He's ready for this, so he seems confident. I'm not going to say. I'm going to keep this professional for the kids. How many reps at 225 pounds though? I don't know. I haven't really strength trained like that. I'm more like I go for a bike ride. I climb a mountain. I do some pull-ups. I do some weights. I got some, bands involved. I'm not like a bodybuilder anymore. I'm not going. I'm like let me climb this mountain and lift a rock. So I'm just out here. I'm like a nature boy. I'm like, let me lift this rock. Is it 50 pounds? Is it 100 pounds? Is it 200 pounds? I don't know. I'm just out here lifting, pushing trees and stuff. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying I don't, Mother Nature's my gym, so I can't tell you how many reps I'm doing because I look at weights now and I say, what is that? I'm looking for a mountain. Nah, I'll just go for a bike ride or something. I don't know. Put me to the test. Do I do deep breathing? No, but should we do some deep breathing now? Some Wim Hof, though. Wim Hof be breathing all the air. He's in a room and you got to leave the room because Wim Hof is just going to breathe up all your air. He's like, it's all for him, the deep breathing, hold your breath, icicle stuff. I like that. Someone said, now I can't see anything but a Portland caddy. I mean, I'm like a hipster if hipsters weren't retarded. It's like I'm dressed like a Portland caddy. I'm drinking coffee. Do you want me to talk about my coffee for 3 minutes like a hipster from Portland? Because I will. I made it myself. I bought the beans myself. I crushed them up. I slow poured it. I double filtered my water. I'm very Portland caddy hipster. It's just the difference between me is give me the nice little sweaters, Give me the good coffee. Give me the whatever you want to call your little house burger or something with the garlic aioli sauce. Give me all that. But just leave your retarded politics behind. We're not defunding the police. We're not going to trash the city, okay? We're not going to just paint F Biden and F Trump over everybody's businesses. We're not going to burn police precincts. We're just going to garlic aioli, good coffee, and then the politics, they need to calm down. They're like, what's your pronouns? It's like, stop talking. That's it. Just stop. They were so close. Portland was so close. They got good donuts and coffee, and then they just blew it because they're retarded. But they were so close to making a utopia. It's like, we got all the innovation. We're so smart. And then it's like they're gonna like die in 15 years because they're all gonna kill each other, and none of them know how to farm. But whatever. What about mandatory vaccines? I mean, not for me. I'm not taking one, but see what happens. You know what I'm talking about? They have voodoo donuts and stuff. Like, yeah, it's like they were so close, but a little too retarded. Rambo or Terminator? I don't know, because I don't really watch movies. To be honest, I don't know that I've ever seen Rambo or Terminator. I'm the worst movie person ever. I don't know anything. Willy Wonka. I'm going to choose Willy Wonka just because I saw that movie. Gene Wilder, I'm saying, could take out Rambo and Terminator. He could kill them both. And violence is not the answer. I'm just saying, in a three-way battle, Willy Wonka would just massacre Rambo and Terminator. They're like, oh, I have guns. I'm so strong. Look, I work out. And he's just like, hoo-hoo, and then they're dead. It's like, he plays a little tune on his keyboard, dead. They're like, sorry, it's not all about muscles. I mean, it's good to be strong, but like, Willy Wonka would murder any of these people, and I'm sticking to that. Black Patriots for Trump, shout out. Do I think Trump can win in court? Absolutely. I'm not worried. You don't see me out here freaking out. Someone said Arnold wins. No, Gene Wilder wins every time. Don't play yourself. Arnold looks like he's too. He can't even swim. He'll end up like Augustus Gloop. Okay, he'll like where am I? And then he's drowning in chocolate, and then he's stuck in a tube. It's over. Sorry, you're wrong. I'm not. Everyone has the freedom of speech. Everyone has an opinion. Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka beats everyone in a fight. You can't mess with magical like sneaksters. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't work that way. Will MSM survive a Trump re-election? None of this stuff seems sustainable to me. The media is like psychotic. It's like constant psychological warfare. Social media companies are just crazy, ridiculous. I don't know. This was all going to happen either way. That's why I'm not tripping. Like, Trump's making moves. He's firing the FCC guy. He's firing the Secretary of State. It's like a chess game. I'm watching the greatest story on earth. I'm just hoping he's got a little secret. All right, let's see. Do Republicans think this is a big conspiracy against them and Trump? Let me see. Joseph Vega said, do Republicans think this is a big conspiracy against them and Trump? I mean, if you look up the word, I know the word conspiracy means like, scares people, but if you look up conspiracy in a dictionary, it means two or more men who conspire to do something evil. So I would say, yeah, I think that's exactly what Republicans and Trump think it is. And if you look at how they were treated the last 4 years, it's not just a conspiracy against Republicans. It's really a conspiracy against Trump. You have neocons, people who start wars. You have people like Mitt Romney, George Bush, John McCain. And then you have Democrats, basically the two-party system who, no matter who wins the election, they do exactly what the people want. And this is not like, people make it sound crazy, but if you look at the U.S. politics, the pharmacy industry makes a lot of money or gives a lot of money to politicians, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. The military-industrial complex, foreign countries, or, there's a lot of ways to buy off politicians, and it's gotten to the point before Trump that they were all pretty much bought off. And I mean, you could look at, there's like, I think Open Secrets pretty much has their, pay grade on blast, so you could see it all. It's not even a secret, it's an open secret. But yeah, I think from the day that Trump got into office, they never wanted him there. They tried to coup him multiple times. We've seen it. They've treated everybody like trash. They've tried to racially divide the country. And Trump actually lost white votes. So he gained black votes. He gained Hispanic votes. If Trump is so racist, why is he getting more minority votes than any Republican in 50 years? So the media is constantly having psychological war against both parties. They're lying to liberals and just sending them into like this psychotic, demon state that would make George Carlin, a classic liberal, look far right. And then this election, absolutely. I think most Republicans and Trump and his supporters believe that, they're conspiring so he doesn't win. And we know that they're doing that because the election's not over. Even, a lot of websites are saying it's still on. There's lawsuits, there's Supreme Court, there's recounts, and in general, some states are still counting. I mean, and I've talked about it a lot. I could get into all the ways that this election's been different. We're going to audit it and we're going to look into it, or we're going to try to. So I think that's exactly what people think. And I think they were right. It's strange to me because the left, when I was growing up, it was the left who was rebellious. The left was all about, psychedelics and opening your mind, bro. And the left was all about free speech and Eminem, F George Bush, F Tipper Gore. Like, we're gonna talk about whatever we want. Conservatives are small-minded. And then when Trump got in office, the media and, the culture, the rappers, the artists who control a lot of people's thinking, they just flipped. They conned you into being the small-minded party. And then it's like, ooh, government conspiracy theories were more of like a left-wing thing 30 years ago. And now it's like, oh, the government has my best interest. Mark Zuckerberg loves me. Jack Dorsey would never lie to me. The banks are on my side. The wars, Trump needs to go to war. It's bad he's moving out of Afghanistan. Like, how dare him try to stop a war in Syria? How dare him get along with North Korea instead of trying to fight them? Like, what's wrong with Trump, making peace deals? Like, how dare him do prison reform? It's crazy to think that, like, machines can be manipulated. It's the most powerful country on earth where you have billions upon trillions of dollars that are going to be affected by this. You could say perhaps the most, power and money out of almost any country. This is who's going to control it. You think that there's nobody that's vying for that spot. Somebody might rob a 7-Eleven, but you don't think that they can manipulate the biggest election in the history of humanity. And that's your new theory. It's not like there is, it's like, it's not even possible to cheat. Voter fraud and election fraud doesn't exist. It's like, this is like really embarrassing stuff. You get what I'm saying? I'm not Mr. like politic over here, but it's like, are people really this dumb? They've brainwashed liberals and Trump haters into being like the dumbest people on the planet. They're like pro media, pro government, pro two-party system, like pro like not questioning anything. They're like, oh my God, let's get these conspiracy theorists off the internet. Like, my mind is controlled by Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, Wikipedia, and, the little warning labels. And if anybody disagrees with those, this is a sci-fi movie, and you're on the side of, like, the tech censors. Like, have you ever seen 1984, or that's a book, but I think they probably made a movie. Any of these things where, like, the technocracy, like the elites, the billionaires, and the big technological companies, like enslave everybody and put masks on them and muzzles and, lock you in your house and you're not allowed to question it. Like, you're on that side. We're on the side of like pro-human, pro-freedom. Like, let's be free. Let's have fair elections. Let's be able to say what we want and question the elites. You're on the side of if Joe Biden steals this election, which I don't think he will, but if he does, you're not going to be able to question him. You just sold the country out to all the powerful people who own and control everything, all media, all social media. You're not going to be able to question a thing he does. And he's going to be 1,000 times worse than Trump. And you're not going to be able to say a thing about it. You can criticize Trump and get a TV show. Under Biden, you're done. And the Marxists and the communists who are like, oh, we're going to rebel. No, you're useful to the point of Joe Biden getting power. And then you get wiped out as soon as you start realizing he's not doing everything you want him to do. It's so bizarre seeing the left wing fall so hard. Like, I don't think like Republicans and conservatives know everything. Honestly, I think a lot of people are fooled and there's a lot of, sneaky stuff going on the right wing, but I've never seen something like the decline of liberalism from like here to like here. That's what I'm using Portland as an example. Like, I love hipster stuff. I love garlic aioli sauce. If you don't like garlic aioli sauce, get your taste buds. Hipsters make good craft burgers and craft beer and they were creating a little utopia. We make good food. We're nice to each other. We don't care what race you are. We're the best. They were like on the path of like really doing something special. I love Portland and, San Francisco was nice 15 years ago. And then they went total psycho. And now San Francisco sucks. Portland sucks. Los Angeles sucks. It's like the biggest spiral I've ever seen from liberal ideology. And people are too brainwashed to like figure out how to like combine, you know, these ideas with things that make sense. I've never seen anything like it. Politically, socially, spiritually, mentally, it's the biggest collapse I've ever seen within a 10-year span. It's like the equivalent of San Francisco being the cleanest city in America to literally the dirtiest city in America. They went from like here, top 10 lists of most clean cities, to like bottom 5 lists of most dirty cities. Like, and they don't even seem to notice. It's like, what planet are you guys on? But it's insane. Someone said it's crazy how liberals can't call out other liberals. Well, here's the thing too. This is all part of the plan. Like, I'm not going to say I like everybody because some people suck of every race, but you get what I'm saying. I judge people by the content of their character, not their skin color. But under intersectionality, it's really just a scheme to like silence opposition. For instance, Eva Longoria made a statement. Like, she was something like, oh, Latino women are the real superheroes because they voted for Biden. She had to apologize because they said she was undermining black women. So this is liberalism. If you're right wing and you say, hey, Latino women are queens, no one cares. If you say white women are queens, no one cares. If you say black women are queens, no one really cares. Like, it's like, say what you want. You know, we're glad you're voting for us or whatever. Like, no one really cares that much. But on the left wing, if you dare say that Latino women are queens, you're undermining the women. And now you didn't involve the trans, and the trans are mad. But now you didn't. What about the paraplegics? And now you're an ableist. Like, it's mass psychosis. It's like people who think their feelings matter more than like everything else. They're like, words hurt. They're changing words in the dictionary. You could get deleted off of Twitter. You could get banned off of Twitter for saying the word retard. The word retard is one of the original English words. Maybe not the first word, but it literally means to retard. To retard is to slow in velocity. So if your car is stopping, it's retarding. If you're not progressive, you're retarded. So if you're slow, it's a good word. It's a good word to describe a person, a car. It's an actual word. But words hurt the feelings of left-wingers. So there is no progressivism on the left wing. It's like retardedism. It's like everyone's retarded. Everything bothers everybody. It's creating like a mass censorship state where they can do and say whatever they want. And the people of power have the double standards to do what they want. You can't go outside, but they could go outside. You can't go to your family's funeral, but they could go to their funeral. You can't go to the hair salon without a mask, but they could go to the hair salon without a mask. If you travel to Delaware, you have to quarantine. But when the mayor of DC travels to, Delaware, she doesn't quarantine herself because she's more important than you. This is Marxist communism, and they're trying to disguise it as some sort of like pro-black woman movement or something to dupe people into thinking it's like for the people. And these are the games they play. They don't believe in content of character. They don't believe in content of argument. They believe in censorship, silencing, and complaining about like the dumbest things. Like literally, like you can't even compliment Latina women because now some random angry like white or Jewish or black woman journalist with 50,000 cats is mad and gonna write this op-ed article about how you're like minimalizing black women. And like Eva Longoria is like, why would you be liberal nowadays? Like it's so fun to not be that. Like when I was 2000, Eminem's talking all this shit. That was liberal. That wasn't conservative. He was talking about, it was like, we can say and do whatever we want. This is great. And now it's the opposite. It's like Republicans can say and do whatever they want within reason. And liberals can't say or do anything. It's like they're retarded, literally, by dictionary definition. And you could get banned for saying that because they don't even know what words mean. Like I'm now penalized in liberal world because I actually read books in the dictionary and I have a decent vocabulary. Like that's a hate crime offense because I'm not as retarded as they are. You get what I'm saying? It's such a joke. Someone said they think with emotion, not logic. I think a lot of people think with emotion, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's a whole system built around tricking people too. That's the tricky part. And people ask me why I even do this. This is why. They built a whole, like, it's almost harder if you're not, like, if you don't have a high IQ or you're not like a real critical thinker and you're just kind of a follower who just like, breezes through things, or maybe like your role in life, like you're a wife, or, and I'm not saying it's a woman thing, but in general, like if you're not somebody that's all over the place paying attention and you just like have a good heart and assume that everyone's telling you the truth, unfortunately, you're barking up the wrong tree because this is a scheme where it's like Google's lying, Facebook is lying, Twitter's lying, Wikipedia's lying, the news is lying, the television's lying, the celebrities are lying. And now what they're doing is that they've always been lying, especially for the last 5, 6, 7 years. But now they're slowly weeding out anybody telling you the truth. In 2016, they were all lying. But the difference was they didn't rig their algorithms. People could tell the truth, and people were telling the truth. So they cut it out, and they've been cutting 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 it out. So when this election happened, they've almost completely removed the opposite. So if you're just a casual person and you're like, I'm not into politics, but I lean, like, you don't even realize that the whole system is really there to lie to you. And it sounds crazy, but that's just what's happening. If you investigate it and research and learn and listen to both sides, you'll realize like they're becoming authoritarian. And this is not a new concept. This is new for America, and we've been so privileged to live in a society that wasn't like this for so long. But this has happened in communist China. This has happened in, the Bolshevik era. This has happened in, I'm sure, North Korea, or anywhere where there's some sort of a dictator who it's not that easy to question. So the people with potentially more power than Trump have been rigging society to create sort of a communist authoritarian dystopia. And then the second that Trump is gone, if he's gone, whenever that happens in 5 years and 6 years and 3 months, whatever, now they have a total control. They have total control of mass media, total control of social media, total control of communication. They're going to use the Green New Deal and the Paris Climate Accord to take control of transportation and to take control of other elements of your life. And then they're going to have everything. And then once people realize, once liberals stop screaming wet ass P-U-S-S-Y, the Cardi B lyrics, and they're dancing for Joe Biden in the street, singing Cardi B lyrics, once they realize what they did, they just voted for the candidate who could barely speak, who's a puppet of the banks, who's a puppet of the military-industrial complex, who's a puppet of the two-party system, who's a puppet of big tech and the social media elites that run your life, who's a puppet of the media, who's going to sit behind them, and you're never going to be able to question him. And questioning Joe Biden is now a hate speech crime. They're going to pass hate speech laws. You're wearing a mask and a muzzle like a dog. 2 years ago, that would have been a conspiracy theory. Now y'all do it and think it's totally normal for your own health. That's how much they conned you. So you're walking around with a muzzle. You can't question the president of the United States. You can't question the process of anything that's going on. If you do, you get deleted off of the public sphere where everybody communicates. And that's the new normal. This is not freedom. This is not America. This is the anti-America, anti-freedom, anti-human, communist, authoritarian president that big tech conned people into thinking was some sort of, freedom fighter for racism, even though if you look at his track record and Kamala's track record, it couldn't possibly be more opposite. It's like, it doesn't even make sense for what they're claiming they do. But that's how stupid people are. Because if you're dumb enough to scream wet ass pussy in the streets when Joe Biden wins, because you're so happy he wins that you're singing some, stupid rap song. And I'm not above stupid rap songs. I like stupid rap songs too. I'm just saying, like, you're celebrating in the street. When Trump supporters gather, they dance and they sing like God Bless America. Like you're dancing to like wet ass pussy. And you don't even realize you voted for the candidate that's going to literally treat you like a slave. So once you figure that out, Yuri Bezmenov says it the best. It's like people become disillusioned. The liberals, the Marxists, the communists, the progressives, your average idiot, starts to realize this isn't what I wanted. I wanted something else. Then you're done. You're going to get killed, or you're going to get enslaved, or you're just going to be another pleb who, if you dare speak out, you're going to lose your job and money and place in society, and you're not going to do it. So it's game over for you. We won't let it get to that point. Luckily, there's patriots who actually know what's going on, the people you hate the most who are going to save your life. But in general, it's like nothing that they say, like we're voting for the black community. It's like you're voting for the candidate who passed mass incarceration laws and you hate the police, but you're voting for a top police, a prosecutor. It's like they're laughing so hard at you because they know how stupid you are. If you're going to sing wet ass pussy in the streets to celebrate a Joe Biden win, you're dumb enough to not realize that the candidate who actually put people in jail over the candidate who actually got people out of jail and an actual cop and an actual top prosecutor is what you voted for. They're laughing so hard. They're like, these people are so stupid. Read a book from Manning Johnson, a black man from the 1900s. I remember in school, it stuck with me. I read Booker T. Washington and I was like, wow, this guy's really smart. Black guy from the 1800s. Like, you're stupider than Booker T. Washington and Manning Johnson. Like, you're not smarter. Like, people have these liberal arts degree and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so smart. It's like, no, you're literally more retarded than like the average person in like 1870. Like, they've dumbed people down. Like, you read these black intellectuals from the late 1700s and the early 1900s, they're a million times smarter than you. Their vocabulary is better than yours. Their logic, their reason, their common sense run circles around. They're probably 10 to 50 times smarter than you. George Washington was like 10 to 50 times smarter than you too. So they've dumbed society down to the point where like people are so retarded that they just voted for exactly what they claim to be fighting against, as they're already pretty much enslaving people. Like when you get locked in your house, essentially, where you can get arrested for going out past curfew, and you can't open your business or go to a restaurant without following some sort of crazy rules, or you could get arrested. This is what you just voted for. Like, this is not my theory. Like, oh, Joe Biden's going to... They already did it this year. And it was the Democrats who are pushing it more. And people like Fauci and Bill Gates who support Democrats. So it's like, you literally voted for slavery. And this is the part that really gets me. And I mean, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but if you notice, I don't care. The two biggest victim cards in America out of any ethnicity are black and Jewish. You know, you got Holocaust, you have slavery, these terrible events that were bad. But I'm just saying, people say, you know, remember this, never forget. It's all your fault. And they use it as an excuse for everything in society. You can't question anybody, or else they bring up the two travesties in history. And I'm not knocking. I'm just saying, you had the black community vote for literally mask mandates and lockdowns. So it's like, if you're voting for essentially slavery now and you're complaining about slavery in the past, this is why conservatism preaches self-accountability. This is why your Brandon Tatums and Thomas Sowells and, you know, Ben Carsons and Herman Cain's, they preach self-accountability and self-awareness, because if you don't have it, you're going to keep getting fooled into the same oppression that happened hundreds of years ago. So now you have the biggest opponents of slavery of the past voting for slavery of the future. And you have, you know, the biggest people who cry about the travesties of World War II are voting for the candidate who is going to empower people like the Cuomos, who are literally locking Jews down like you know, concentration camps. Like they can't even gather by 5 or 10. You can't go to, you know, summer camp. You can't gather at your synagogue. Who's doing that? It's Democrats. So you have the two biggest victim cards in America voted overwhelmingly, if you look at demographics, maybe 70 to 80%, for the candidate of slavery. So this is why, you know, no party should buy into the victim mentality, because it's not like a mean thing. Like, we're like, oh, get over it, grow out of it. It's like, that's not the message here. The message is not, you know, I'm so mean and I don't care about what happened in the past. But if you don't learn from your mistakes in the past, you keep making those mistakes in the present. And that's how the elites control you. They manipulate the past, they lie about the past, they misframe it, or they take it out of context where they don't tell you how it really happened and how your ethnicity was also responsible, and what you did to get there. It wasn't just everyone else bad, you were good. It's like everybody's got good and bad. Every ethnicity has good people and bad people, and good and bad people made good and bad decisions in the past, and that's how it got there. But they teach it as everything's their fault, nothing's your fault, so you make the same exact mistakes and vote for slavery now. So it's like, you know, am I not supposed to notice that? It's like, how are you going to complain about, you know, the 1700s and then vote 90+% for a candidate that is literally treating you like a slave? Like, I don't, how, if I would have said Donald Trump is going to slap a mask on your face, mandate that you wear a dog muzzle everywhere you go, and if you try to run your business as it's going bankrupt, they can arrest you. If I would have told people that in 2018, they would have been like, holy shit, that's terrible. Trump's Hitler. He's a Nazi. But that's what they did this year, and no one seems to notice because they did it incrementally. You know, this is incrementalism. And in general, they've done it to both sides. They've gotten the cops to enforce these laws, back the blue, but blue's backing you into your house and won't let you run your business. And then they've incrementally just destroyed the left and got them to be like pro-slavery, pro-mask mandates, pro-lockdowns and quarantines, despite what the data says. And none of these people, they're so brainwashed, they don't even believe the data. Nothing they do ever makes sense. So you get what I'm saying? Okay. You're anti-racism, pro this, pro that, anti-cop. So you're going to vote for the literal cop and the guy who literally was responsible for locking up more black people. Doesn't make sense, but nothing they do makes sense. They're such hypocrites. They're so brainwashed. They're so arrogant. They're so egotistical. They just hop from lie to the next lie and act like they don't even realize it. Everything you're against could not be more 180 than Joe Biden and Kamala. And if you just listen to them talk, they're the least authentic people on the planet. And then, you know, nowadays, people, talk about all this other stuff. We believe that the science says that you can't gather in the streets. They'll say this, and then in the same day, they'll celebrate with 50,000 people outside Washington, D.C. because they think that Joe Biden won because the media lied to them and said that he won. So the same people that just told you 20 minutes ago that you shouldn't gather with 50 people or you're going to kill somebody have no problem with 20,000 people gathering in Washington, D.C. because it's for their person. Is that science? That's not science, folks. That's ego. That's brainwash. That's delusion. That's arrogance. It's just straight up dishonesty. I don't know what element it is. Are these people possessed with demons? Do they work for the devil? Are they stupid? Is their IQ low? Are they liars? Are they just too brainwashed? Are they so in deep in their own ideas that they're afraid to like back out? Is it public pressure? I can't tell you what's going on, but it's like if even what they claim to believe in, which is debatable, they don't even believe in. It's like, you believe in that, but you voted for that. You believe in that, but you do it a month later when it's convenient for you. And then the next day you go back to saying don't do it anymore. So it's like, if the theory is the virus is going to spread if there's mass gatherings, and you mass gather to riot or celebrate Joe Biden every 2 months, how are you going to stop? You're not going to stop the spread by your own logic. But these people don't care, and they don't even realize they don't care. They read op-ed articles in the New York Times about how the science magically shifts when it's got Black Lives Matter involved, or when, when they gather that it's slowing the spread, but when conservatives gather in smaller numbers, it's growing the spread. I mean, I really don't get it. I really don't. Like, I understand somebody being like more conservative than me and believing in, this and that. And I get that. I get the liberal who says, listen, I want to be free and smoke weed and, just have weird little parties and stuff. I get people not agreeing with me on certain things, but I truly don't understand the hypocrisy and the mass delusion going on. Like, I really don't get it. Like, that's the science, but you don't even believe in the science. You hate cops, but you're going to vote for a cop. You're for prison reform, but you're not even going to acknowledge the prison. That just shows me you don't actually care about anything you believe. It's like being a salesman coming up to you and being like, oh, and then like he'll tell you the next thing in 5 minutes. Like, I'm good at picking this stuff up. I don't fall for things very easily. I'm not easily fooled. It's like they're not even good at fooling people. It's like it must be something with like, brainwashing or something. I don't know. It's like genius level, like psychiatrist stuff where people are just literally retarded. I don't know. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Let's see. Someone says sheep people. Exactly. It's crazy. Someone said this is funnier than stand-up comedy. Yeah, I'm so much funnier than Trevor Noah. Maybe if I get a show on television, my show will be called I'm Funnier Than Trevor Noah. And the whole premise of it is going to be no script, no script writers. He's got multiple script writers, no production. It's just me showing how much funnier I am than Trevor Noah. It would be a smash hit. Someone says, save this live video, please. Yeah, that's a possibility. Do I have a YouTube channel? Yeah, if you search Anomaly, AN0MALY, I have a YouTube channel. Save your live, please. I'll put it on YouTube, or maybe I'll put it on BitChute. I don't want them to like punish my page though. They think here, I'm gonna get it just to show you guys here. I'm gonna read it just in case they delete it. This is a dictionary from the 1800s. The word retarded, this is sad that I even have to do this. It's like I get penalized for being smarter than these idiots. They have like 50,000 degrees, but they're idiots. It's like, this is really a word. They literally try to take stuff down now. You could get banned off Twitter for saying the word retarded, literally. And it's a fantastic word. It's literally a better word than like dumb. Dumb is a dumb word. Stupid is it's like the difference is like, how's that food? And you just say, this food's good. It's like, that's fine. But then if I said, this food is exquisite, is that hate speech, or do I just have a good vocabulary? This food is exquisite. This food is phenomenal. This food is fantastic. These are words that are more impressive than like good or this food tasty. But the word retard means to diminish in the velocity of motion, to render, to slow the progress. Retarded means hindered in motion and delayed. It's a great word. Like, I'm progressing, I'm getting smarter, I'm evolving, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm understanding more, and you're retarded. As I'm progressing, you're retarding. I'm progressive, you're retarded. That's like the word. It's not hateful. I guess somewhere along the line, somebody said it to somebody with mental handicap, which is mean, and then they decided that this word needs to be abolished because somebody said it in a mean context, but a technically factual context. So it's like such a joke. But yeah, maybe I'll put this on YouTube. We'll see. Someone said that word was used for disabled people, though. That's why. Yeah, but you don't get to destroy a word from the dictionary just because somebody used it for somebody else. Technically, yeah, that's not nice to use it for that. But you could also break it down and be like, is it technically factual or not? It's not like, well, someone, after hundreds of years of using the word retard and retarded, somebody used it for someone of special needs. So now we need to destroy the dictionary because someone used it in a way that hurts my feelings. That's not how words work. Well, let's get rid of good. The word good was used bad one time. Let's just get rid of the whole dictionary, right? I mean, let's not even have words. Let's just go back to the caveman and we'll just make noises and, start fires and punch each other or something. Like, yeah, let's just, you get what I'm saying? That the world doesn't stop because somebody did something wrong. But that's the liberal way. It's like, words don't matter. Gender doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, there's a man, there's a woman, you want to transition, but now there's 50, now there's 100, now it doesn't exist, now that word goes away. It's mass insanity. It's like, do what you want. If you want to get a little weird with it, whatever, no one really cares. Just don't say there's 1,000, or don't get rid of the word. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not the way the world works. Like, well, I met somebody who thought that who cares? They're retarded by the dictionary definition. We're evolving, we're progressing. They're retarding. That's a word. All right, let's see. Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's 8 a.m. where I am and your lives wake me up. Well, good morning. Yeah, I don't understand.
You'll never see me tripping. Got the vision now.
Do I think the DOJ has been investigating voter fraud way before Election Day? I don't know. I think a lot of these government agencies seem corrupt and somewhat useless, but I would hope so. I mean, sometimes they do great work. Sometimes you see the DOJ really crush it. So, like, there's good and bad people in the DOJ, I'm sure. So hopefully they're looking into it. I can't tell you if they were or not, but this is put up or shut up time. This isn't, wait for Durham or, this is it. This is the big, there is no like, well, if Trump loses, Durham's going to go back in the future and Nikola Tesla's going to reinvent, free energy, and Trump's going to come back, and Barron Jr.'s from the 1700s. Like, I'm not even, there is a Barron Trump book from 100 years ago. It's interesting. Check it out. But you get what I'm saying? This is put up or shut up time. There is no more, this is it. And I'm not saying like it's over after this, but as far as like all these theories and all these ideas and hammer and scorecard, and if the DOJ was working on it, Bill Barr's going to do it, these next 2 weeks, this is all in. There is no more, if Trump doesn't pull this off, there is no more, they're waiting. No, all that was wrong. It's like, it's time. This is it. So do I think it's going to happen? I do, but I don't know how it's going to happen. Is it going to be the DOJ? Is it going to be the Supreme Court? Is it going to be Trump and Giuliani? I don't know. I mean, it could be anybody, but I mean, this is it. We need to keep our eyes on the prize.
Need assistance, Bob Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross.
Someone said libertarianism is a trick to be bankrolled by banks and corps. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I think the Libertarian Party has some issues. Like Joe Jorgensen, don't get me started. Terrible candidate, doesn't understand culturally what's going on. If people actually, and I'm not trying to shame third-party voters, but if people actually voted for Trump instead of Joe Jorgensen, Arizona would be over for Trump, or it would be soon. Joe Jorgensen may be what stood in the way. And I'm not trying to shame people, but it's like, your ideas of libertarianism don't matter if you don't understand how the world works. Like you said, with banks and corporations, like, you can have an idea all you want, but if your idea gets 1% of the vote, it doesn't matter. You're losing ground. You went from Gary Johnson to Joe Jorgensen. You're losing votes. You're getting dumber. It's like, she doesn't understand the culture. She doesn't understand Black Lives Matter. She doesn't even understand the Constitution from what I've seen. She has like half libertarian ideology, half liberal ideology. Someone like Joe Jorgensen gets steamrolled in the real world. So, I think there's good elements of libertarianism, but they got to get their party straight, and they have to be realistic about what's going on. And I think, the same could be said with like the GOP and conservatism. This is why, they banish people on the further right who say certain things that are edgy. But at the end of the day, like science and history and the future and math and demographics, they're not concerned with like your feelings. Like the right says facts don't care about your feelings, but then they're afraid to talk about certain stuff. Like, whatever's true, it doesn't matter how much people don't want to talk about it. It's going to happen either way. So I think like certain like theories and certain ideas that are unpopular and that seem hateful, they age better than others. Like, for instance, Alex Jones, David Icke, Bill Cooper, all different people, but one thing they had in common, they always said that Agenda 2020 or 2030 and, martial law and shutting down the country and Bill Gates, these have been talked about for a decade. So when you're talking about that 10 years ago, you have moderates and libertarians saying, no, that's not going to, and then it all happens. And it's like, it doesn't matter that you didn't want to talk about it 10 years ago. It doesn't, I get that you're like, Rand Paul's going to win the election. It's like, no, they're not. I like Rand Paul. I like Ron Paul, but you get what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, it's going to get weird. It's going to get messy. And I think, being a purist is good, but you also have to be a realist in the sense of like, don't sell out. Don't compromise your values. But you get what I'm saying? Like if I want to build a 20-story house, but I don't have the construction team to do it, my idea doesn't matter. To me, libertarianism starts to like remind me of like a Bernie Sanders sort of thing where it's like, this is how I want it to work, but that's not how it works. So no matter you do it 100 times it's going to fail. It's not a coincidence. It's because it doesn't work. It's like you have this plan, but the plan doesn't make sense. Libertarianism has this plan, but they don't have the resources to build the house, so the plan doesn't work. I'm going to tell you why I voted third party in 2016, and I think at the time, I can't guarantee it, but if I was in a swing state, I think I might have voted for Trump. I don't know. I can't tell you, but my reason for voting third party in 2016, I was in California. I know California doesn't matter because it was going to go so blue. My vote doesn't count. So I thought if I voted for Jill Stein, if she could get to 5% of the vote, she could be in the debates. Say what you want about Jill Stein. She knows what's going on with foreign policy. She's got some good points, although I think most of her points are not good. If she gets into the debate, to me, that elevates the discussion that's being had over the two-party system. So I strategically voted as like my vote wouldn't count if I voted for Trump or Hillary, but if I can get them to 5%, it matters. Where if you're in Arizona and you're libertarian and you know this vote's, you know it's going to be Biden and Trump, regardless of what you want to believe. This is just the facts. I told people before, you vote for Joe Jorgensen, you're throwing your vote in the trash. You could act like it's a principled vote, but your principles don't matter because you're not accomplishing anything. What you accomplished by voting for Joe Jorgensen in Arizona is, if you like Trump and Joe Jorgensen, but you like Joe Jorgensen more, you got Joe Biden electoral votes. That's literally what you did. If it comes down to that, we'll see what happens. Trump didn't lose yet, but it's like, you get what I'm saying there. It's like, my ideal house is a 50-story house and we all have water, but if I don't have the resources and the team to build it, it doesn't matter. And that's called realism. So it's like, if you're a purist, progressive, but your policy doesn't make sense and it always backfires, it doesn't matter what you think. And if you're a purist libertarian, but if you vote for non-purist libertarians like Joe Jorgensen, who are such weak candidates that there's no chance that they're pulling over 1% of the vote, what are you really accomplishing? You're just patting yourself on the back and acting like, I did something because I'm outside the two-party system. You really just helped big tech. You really just helped the two-party system. You really just helped the military-industrial complex. You accomplished none of what you think you accomplished, and you only, helped a certain party. But I know some left-wing people who voted for Joe Jorgensen. It is what it is. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, you got to be real about it. Someone said Coomer Town. Someone said we're 13K away from being red in Arizona. It's going to come down to the wire. I think at this rate, Trump is probably going to be down by like a couple thousand votes, and then hopefully they get a recount in a fair election. But at this rate, he would need to get like 65% or something. Do I think Trump has a chance to win with recounts and fraud cases? Absolutely. Guys, this is not a theory. This is a fact. The system and the machine, it got caught with a glitch or an error switching votes. I don't remember the exact amount, thousands, 10,000, switching from Trump to Biden. If they're switching votes to that extreme, that needs to be caught. They got caught multiple times. It's always going in their favor somehow. Very coincidental. But it's beyond even the paper ballot stuff. In Pennsylvania, the Wolf and whatever their names are, the AG, the Secretary of State, they went rogue. They totally disagreed with customs we've had for hundreds of years. It's a court battle in Pennsylvania. Someone said Trump's not going to win Pennsylvania. To me, he's more likely to win Pennsylvania than other states, because his case with fraud in Pennsylvania and his case with customs, it's going to court, and I read the court case. It's 100 pages. I read like 10 because I didn't feel like reading 100. he's got a good case, and he's citing Supreme Court cases. What the Pennsylvania Democrats did has never been done. So if the judge rules constitutionally, they're going to have to throw out hundreds of thousands of votes, because a vote that, if you have to by law allow poll workers into your thing. If you don't listen to that and you count hundreds of thousands of votes with no poll, that's not normal. No one does that. You're not allowed to do that. So technically, those votes could all be thrown out. You get what I'm saying? And this is not a stretch. Why doesn't anyone else do that? Why don't they kick out poll watchers? Because it's illegal. When the Supreme Court tells you to separate the ballots and you don't separate them, that's illegal. So, when Trump says count every legal ballot, you can't just have secret counting things, at 4 a.m. and not invite anybody. It doesn't work like that for a reason. So in Michigan, there's whistleblowers. In Pennsylvania, there's whistleblowers. In Pennsylvania, there's all sorts of reports of blacklists and not allowing Republican poll watchers, and you can't do that. So I think he could win Pennsylvania. I think they cheated in Georgia. I think that could be discovered. Arizona's close. We'll see what happens there. I honestly think he won Wisconsin. I think everything that it looked like on election night, if you trace Wisconsin, Michigan, I think he has a better case than you guys even think in those states. And it's going to come down to, do these people want to follow the law or not? You can't do that stuff. If Republicans did that, I would feel the same way. It's not legal. So someone said they did segregate the votes. We'll see. There's like, it's a 106-page lawsuit. So they're showing all sorts of things. I think it was the morning of, the Supreme Court demanded that they segregate votes that were counted after Election Day. You're claiming they did it. We'll see. I don't know that they did or not. I didn't catch a news article about that. And even if I did, it's just a news article. How many votes were cast without a Republican poll watcher there when they were trying to get in and they weren't allowed to get in? That's probably hundreds of thousands. So we'll see. Censorship is getting worse? No doubt. Real Casabrel said, do you really think the courts will overthrow thousands of votes? Isn't a contingent election the best way to go? Well, here's the thing. I'll break it all down as easy as I can. In certain states, I believe in Georgia, maybe in Michigan, I forget exactly where, the machines, they all seem to be the Dominion voting machines, which have interesting ties, but they flipped votes from Trump to Biden. So before we even get into paper ballots and counting, there's on record already, they got caught multiple times and they had to shift it back. Counties flipping from blue to red because the machine, instead of giving 10,000 votes or 20,000, whatever it was to Trump, that were Trump votes, they flipped it and gave it to Biden. And if you flip 10,000 votes, that's a 20,000 swing. If you flip 20,000 votes, that's a 40,000 swing, because you're taking 20,000 out of one person's and putting 20,000 in the other. That's a huge swing. They've already got caught doing that multiple times. So if Trump and Giuliani and the Republicans and whoever, or the Department of Justice can successfully audit all those machines and try to find every time that they did that, if they've done it once or twice or 3 times, they could have done it 10 times or 20 times or 30 times, whether it be a mistake or a nefarious attempt to switch the election. That's the first possibility right off the jump. If they could successfully audit that, I have no doubt in my mind that probably happened more than, why would I believe that only happened a few times? Like, they got caught a few times, but maybe that happened 10 times. Maybe it didn't, but they need to audit so people know this election is fair. So before you even get into counting ballots, that could have happened all over the place. We already know it happened in multiple states. Now you get into, Pennsylvania. They went rogue. Like, they wanted to change the rules and change the laws. We can count for this many days. We don't need Republican poll watchers. You can't do that. I mean, do I think that they could possibly throw out hundreds of thousands of votes? I think so, because if you can't identify that these votes are legit or that there was proper oversight, then they don't count. I mean, this is like, okay, I could bring in 100,000 votes at 4 a.m. and not have anybody see it. Like, it should be obvious why those possibly wouldn't count. I think there's multiple times in the past too where stuff like that haven't counted. They disqualify votes all the time. A lot of times, I forget, not an absentee, but I think it's called a provisional ballot. They go over all those ballots and make sure, they check everything, make sure you didn't vote twice, make sure you followed the right customs. In a lot of states, they have, a signature. If your signature doesn't match, they don't count your vote. This is not abnormal. But in states like Pennsylvania, they tried to overturn, and I believe successfully on a local level of some sort, that your signature doesn't even need to match. So they could count a vote, no Republican poll watcher, which is not legal, no signature, which on a national level I don't believe is legal, and I think will go to the Supreme Court. So you change 3 of these laws, and you're counting votes days after, no signature, no Republican poll watcher. Why wouldn't these be disqualified? I think they have a high chance of being disqualified, and it's not cheating. Republicans, I mean, Democrats had a whole thing like count every vote. And Republicans said count every legal vote. That tells you everything you need to know. It's like they want to count every single vote, no matter if it's a dead person, no matter if they cheated, the signature doesn't match, they didn't have a watcher. And Republicans say every vote that's legal counts. If you don't have legal votes counting, you have a phony election. So I think people are underestimating how, not that hard it would be in a court. Because I don't think, from reading Trump's, lawsuit, it's very long, but I read a little bit of it. They're citing Supreme Court cases where they've done this in the past. Like it's not like this crazy, chance like, oh my God, they would never do that. They've done it multiple times already because, elections have rules. So there's never been an election like this with mass mail-in ballots. These digital machines are very new, so they don't know that much about them. I know Texas rejected the Dominion voting machines because they had problems. So this is all very new. This is all very different. It's going to court. So could Trump lose in court? Absolutely. Could they rule that, they can verify that? Maybe they go over every ballot. What they should do is audit it. That's what I think. I don't like certain things like, okay, are you going to fully disqualify them? I would be okay if they said, listen, we're not going to throw out all these votes, but we're going to audit them and we're going to go over them. We're going to check signatures. We're going to check video footage, and we're going to make sure they didn't just get brought in the back door. If it turns out a lot of those votes are dead people or people who don't live there, who didn't justify it, then you could say, okay, this is a fake batch. But I'm not just calling, throw out people's votes. But no, if they're illegal votes, look into them. And if they're not right, then take them off. I think that's what they should do. And I hope that's what they do. We'll see. Someone said, dude, why lose the beard? I do what I want, I don't know. Sometimes I want a long beard. Sometimes I want a short beard. It was getting a little itchy. So I woke up this morning, I shaved it off, and I took a bike ride. And I regret nothing. I look fantastic. I look like a hipster. What did he say? A Portland caddy, a Portland golf caddy, And, I could feel the breeze on my face because I don't have so I'm just flying. The breeze is just going on my face when I'm, I felt like a commercial. It was a good time. Oh, is it No Shave November? Is that what it's? Yeah, I don't play these games. I don't do the No Shave November. What's my views on Maidengate? Here's my thing. I've looked into it a little bit. I guess it's like people voting in a maiden name in other states. It's got to go to the courts. My opinion doesn't really matter. I know a lot of people are doing work. You got, Stop the Steal, Project Veritas. It's not up to me. So I've looked into it. I know a lot. I don't know everything. I know a decent amount because I do a lot of research. But at the end of the day, it's got to go to the Department of Justice. It's got to go to the courts. It's got to go to the Trump administration, who then files lawsuits. That's what it's going to come down to. So my opinion on Maidengate doesn't really matter. It's like, is it going to hold up in court? Is it real? Is it big enough where they can trace it? I hope so. So we'll see. Someone said, what about did you mean no nut November? You said no butt November, but I forgot it was November. I totally forgot there's all these games to play in November. The watermarks, to me, that was like a fake theory. I mean, are there watermarks? Yes. Could that play some sort of a role if they brought ballots from out of state? Absolutely. Is there a secret sting operation? Just trust the plan. It's all going to work out because they already caught him dead in the act. No, that's not how it's going to work. But you'll figure it out. In general, there's watermarks. It could play a part, but I don't think there's a secret sting operation where it's already done. Trump caught him with the 40. It's like, it's not what's going on, but we'll figure it out. Did I hear about the truck drivers? They're going on strike or something, from what I'm hearing. I didn't look into it that much, but no, I don't know. Someone said, if we can convince the electorate with audit, is it possible no courts needed? Well, that's another thing too. I read a Ron Paul Institute put out an article, and they said that technically, and this I don't want it to come to, because like I want to win a fair election, and I want to win a convincing election. I know they're going to lie about it either way, but I'm the type of person, if the ball is out of bounds on me, I'm calling it out on me. I don't care if people saw it or not. I'm not a liar. So I want to win fair and square, and I want to be able to prove it. So technically, I do believe that in certain state legislators, I'm not sure how it works. It's a very confusing process, but certain state legislators could technically, the electoral vote, they could vote if they're convinced that there's enough fraud, and they're convinced that they've seen proof that it was cheated, they can cast their electoral vote for Trump or something. That I don't want it to come to, though. I don't like that. But we'll see what happens. If there's overwhelming, insurmountable proof, and the courts don't feel like dealing with it, it might come to that. But I would hope not. I would hope that they could prove it and the courts would be able to easily decide. But there's multiple options on the table. That's what Ron Paul's saying. That's what I'm reading. It's not over. That one thing is for sure, it's not over. And Trump is making moves right now. He fired his FCC guy. He fired his whatever it's called. There's a lot of life in this. We'll see what happens. Someone said AOC is a spy for the Trump administration. Yeah, I don't think so. My stomach's rumbling, drinking too much coffee. Someone said AOC is considering leaving politics is the best news from 2020. The people always say to me, run for office, but the real power of AOC, like her vote doesn't really matter. Her legislation, she doesn't really do anything. Her power's in her audience. Her power's in her ability to, persuasion. So that's where her power is. She doesn't need to be now that she has the clout, she doesn't need to be in Congress. She'd be better off. She looks like a mess, honestly. Like, I'm good at reading energy. Like, you see me talking and chilling. Like, I'm at peace. I'm at peace with myself. I believe what I'm saying. You can feel it. You get what I'm saying? It's like a real people talking. Real boy here. Real man. When AOC talks, she's a mess. She's a nightmare. She's freaking out. Her eyes are bugging out. She's very uncomfortable. It's like she reminds me like she's filled with demons, or she's just like super stressed out. She needs to take a vacation, go off with her. They always pretend to hate white people, and then they marry and date white guys. I get it. But, it's like in general, she needs to take a vacation. She needs to go in the hot tub. She needs to stop lying all the time, because it's driving her crazy. Like, I sleep good at night. I'm great. My life is great. She does not look happy. She does not look comfortable. Like, her energy is like if my energy is like, it's like a breathing, you know what I'm saying? Her energy is like, bing, 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 bing. Her eyes like every time she talks, like, I feel like the stress is just eating her alive. The demons in the stress area. And I'm not joking. Like, look at a video of her talking. Someone says she needs the, what? It's a possibility. But in general, yeah, she needs to take a vacation, and, she's better off not being in politics and just lying casually every couple of months and doing like Vogue articles and documentaries to propagandize people. That's more her scene, because I think she knows she's full of shit, and I think it's driving her insane. Like, her energy's horrible. I feel like her calmness and her spirituality is like super, super low. It's like she's up there with the least comfortable people I've ever seen. And I think Elizabeth Warren is somebody like that too. She's always angry. She's always bugging out. It's no way to live, but that's on them. Someone said the weight of the lost House seats. Republicans are up a lot of House seats. They're killing it in the House. They're way outperforming. They're going to keep the Senate most likely. Republicans had a good election. We'll see what happens. There's so much proof and data. There's a long road to happen, and then hopefully, the courts do their job. Someone says she lost her marbles. She's just not a comfortable person. Like when she talks, let me see if I can find a video. I'm going to do my little Let me see. What's her name? AOC. Let me try to find a video. Like, we'll do like a little mini energy reading here. Let's see. Let me find like a good AOC. Like.
So, first and foremost, I want to.
All right. This is. I don't know when this is from. It's a little fuzzy. I wish it wasn't so fuzzy. But like, let's do a little energy reading here. Like, let's see.
Acknowledge that so many of. I acknowledge, first of all, just the really hard fight that a lot of our swing district members had. And
like, you know what I'm saying? She just doesn't look comfortable to me. She looks like, you know what I'm saying? Like the energy is in her just like bulging out.
It is not to deny that Republicans levied very effective rhetorical attacks against our party. That, I believe, is absolutely true. But I think one of the things that's very important is to realize that very effective Republican attacks are going to happen every cycle.
I mean, that's one of her more calm situations, but her energy just feels so bad to me. You know what I'm saying? She's strained. That's a great word. Cashman 2029. Exactly. Straining. Exactly, Cashman. Straining. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between like chilling, like Cameron wearing all pink in a mink suit, and straining. That's exactly like you're straining your new like all her energy is just like ripping out of her. You know what I'm saying? She's straining. That's exactly the word I was looking for. But like she's like it's like stop straining. It's the demons just trying to fly out of her. They're like her eyes like are just like she's a strainer. She's got me worked up there. Let's see. She needs it here. This is my song Bob Ross. It's on. You search Bob Ross Anomaly, you'll find it on Spotify and such. She needs to listen to Bob Ross. This is called Being Calm, like Bob Ross.
All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't wanna cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross. All I do is win. Don't mess with the king, for real, Bob Ross. Your girl eat me up like Chex Mix. Watch me all the time like Netflix, Bob Ross. Let me take it down slow, let me break it down low. Hold up. I done come up from the basement on the struggle from the pavement. Came up high, I feel Jamaican till my eyes switch to the matrix. We are all just human. Shout out Puerto Rican, French, and Haitian. I just say it, everybody play themselves if they're racist. Hating someone for a reason, they ain't choosing. So disgraceful, I be painting birds and clouds like I don't see the shit y'all saying. Please embrace me, need two girls, one I need time for some occasions. Yeah, I'll take it, double up like I invested on my savings. Bob Ross.
Like she needs to listen to that song and calm down. She's got that strain energy. You know what I'm saying? She needs to do a little meditation session. Maybe go in the hot tub, the sauna. Someone said, "What's up with Fox News, bro? Are they folding?" Yeah, I mean, they were always on the decline. I think in general, I think they were always sneaky. And then Trump got in, and they got a little bit realer for a while. And then Roger Ailes died, and then whoever took over was kind of on the path, I think, of making them just another liberal news outlet, like 100% total control. And they decided, I guess, on election night, they were already declining. And then election night, they just threw all the cards at the table. So, yeah, Fox is on the decline. Fox, the ratings are going down. People are leaving for Newsmax and One American News Network. If I could get my contract done with Newsmax, they're trying to work with me, but they're trying to lowball me. It's okay. God bless Newsmax. I know they got a lot of leverage now, but if we can get a deal signed, I'm going to have the best show on television. It's going to be like a mix of, I don't even know what I'm going to do yet, but they're trying to sign me to some sort of, contract to have my own television show. And if we get it done, I'm not going to play around. I might even set up my green screen. I might wear a suit. I might wear a no-sleeve shirt. I don't know yet, but you could guarantee it's going to be one of the top 5 best shows on television. I'm not going to squander this opportunity. So someone said negotiate. I'm trying, but they're busy now because everybody's switching to Newsmax. They've been trying to sign me for months, but I'm like, you got to go up. They're giving me a little low ball. It's okay, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it done. I like the guy. The guy at Newsmax is fantastic. It's negotiation. That's business. It's a push and a pull, and then you get something done. Someone said they better pay you well. We'll see they're not trying to, but I mean, better than what I would make working somewhere else. But we're getting there. Who does the production with your music? That song was Kinfolk John. Shout out my boy Kinfolk John. Sometimes I find a website and I purchase it. Bob Ross was, the song Bob Ross was produced by Kinfolk John. I Like Trump was produced by Morgoth Beats and Kinfolk John. Bioweapon was produced by some Russian dude. I don't know. I found it on a website for like $100. I forget his name. I should know, but I don't know. It's Russia collusion. I bought a beat from Russia, so. Someone said you would. Yeah, I'm not going to squander the opportunity. It's going to be like Chappelle Show meets Tucker Carlson meets Don Lemon if he wasn't so weird. Actually, I just thought that was funny. Where's Newsmax based? I don't know. Better than what Facebook is paying you? Well, now they're not barely paying me anything, but that's the thing though. I don't know. They're not, we'll see what happens. We're in the negotiation. I just gave them some info. We're going back and forth. We'll figure it out.
Never see me tripping. Got the vision now.
Someone say you finna be on news corporations. They're thinking about it, but here's two things. One, I'm not gonna sell out. I want total control. And there's negotiations going on. They want me to do this or that. I gotta keep control, but also it's gotta make sense. It's gotta make sense financially. It's gotta make sense work-wise. Because right now I'm a free bird. Caw. I can do whatever I want now. So if you're gonna lock me into something, not that I'm not gonna lie or do anything, but like if you're gonna make my day harder, you gotta do this. You gotta report to here. We gotta grande. It needs to be more.
This is Bob Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama.
Someone said, could I be the janitor on your show? Yeah, DM me. You could be the janitor. I mean, I'm probably just going to film it from here, but if I need a janitor, you're first in line. And listen. See what happens.
I'll solve it, Bob Ross. All I do is win. Yeah, don't mess with the king. For real, Bob Ross. Yeah, I used to be a savage. You don't want to see me panic. You would rather...
Someone said Megyn Kelly's trying to scrape her way back with conservatives. Listen, I feel bad for Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, you know, it's a cold world, guys. No matter which way you lean, half the country is mad at you all the time. I enjoy what I'm doing because it seems like, at least from my view, it seems like not that many people are mad at me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a lot of people hate me, but you know, once you make it to the big leagues, like Megyn Kelly, or you're on corporate news, like the hate starts coming in. So like Megyn Kelly, you know, she's here, they're mad. It's a tough life. So I think she's got a soul. I think she realizes what's true. And, you know, I think she realizes who's going to give her love. Cause the left is hard to please. No matter how much you do, if you ever tell too much truth, they freak out now. The right just wants, you know, somewhat of a fair shake. They could get a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I think it's tough for anybody. Like, you really have to stay true to your convictions, which is hard to do. Apparently, I don't have a problem with it, but like, if you flop even a little bit, like people are coming for you for both sides. So poor Megyn Kelly, she deserves to be, I was going to say in a kitchen somewhere, but that would be sexist. So I'm going to say, you know, she deserves to be the CEO of a cubicle, you know, and, you know, working hard hours or something. So
lay low in a hammock because I've had it with the havoc on this planet. I imagine like John Lennon. I like bad women.
Jorge said, who's rocking the God bless hat? If you have a God bless hat, it's very rare because they're sold out. So if you got one of the God bless hats, you're one of the lucky ones. They're sold out till 2021, COVID-19. They can't make more. I got to stitch them myself. I had to refund 60 people. That's thousands of dollars. I'm just giving. It's fine, but I'm just like, I'm like, just make new hats. What are you doing? I had to refund like 60 people. Someone bought like 6 hats. I had to refund them. So if you got a white hat, that's rare. They're out of production for some reason, and you know, it's extra rare. And maybe when I sell them again, we'll sell them for $1,000 per hat. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. They're not making them. Someone said I got one. Got to catch them all. Got to get one of every hat. Someone said I have a pink God is great hat. That's rare too, because they're out of stock too. So you got a pink one, you got a white one. These are things you just can't do anymore.
My mom told me you could blow up on Ellen, but I'm too real. Lord, forgive me, call the reverend. Tell them how to deal with the devil, but went back to be myself. Got these girls kneeling for me, they like half the NFL. Oh man, why'd he say it? I be pro-LGBT. How else could I get 3 girls that wants to treat me like a king? Bob Ross, you'll never see me tripping. vision. I don't even need assistance. Bob Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real. Bob Ross. I be too cool for the drama. You don't.
My thoughts. Someone said thoughts on Dennis Prager and Candace. Well, Dennis Prager, he's somebody that I would love to sit at a campfire with and roast marshmallows. So, you know, he seems like a nice guy. Like, we could sit at the campfire, roast marshmallows, make s'mores, and he could tell me about how great Israel is and how much he loves America. I would enjoy that. So shout out Dennis Prager. You know, he just looks like a guy you'd want to roast marshmallows with. And Candace Owens, I love Candace. You know, we're on good terms. She's having a baby. Shout out baby Candace. And, you know, see what happens. I guess she's working with Shapiro now. She was on Prager. She's making moves. That's a businesswoman right there. I hope Ben Shapiro dole out that money to Candace, because she's I'm sure she got a nice little deal and she deserves it. She's not making little girl moves anymore, so I'm sure she got a big girl contract, about to have a baby. Shout out baby Candace. Shout out Marshmallow Dennis. You know, it's all love for me today. I wonder. I mean, Ben's not. I know Ben didn't want to spend too much, but it's like, listen, this not the little leagues. You got to up the. Hold on. I'm like, I messed up this thing. Hold on. There you go. Thoughts on Dave Chappelle SNL the other night? I didn't watch it because I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's one of the best comedians ever, but he's been like too emotional. And listen, emotions are good sometimes, but I don't know. His last stand-up to me was just corny. He's like getting mad at Candace. He's all sad about, you know, police brutality. And I'm not saying it's not a thing. I'm just like, it wasn't funny. He was just like spreading misinformation. So it's like, I don't really care what he said. I don't know. No offense to Dave Chappelle, one of the best comedians ever, one of the brightest minds in comedy. But it's like, who cares? SNL, Dave Chappelle, not interested anymore. I'm watching. I'm on BitChute.com watching conspiracy theories. Don't mess with the king. For everything I do an illustration. I'm the illest friend. Full amazement. Got no deal. I'm taking every bill I'm making. Building payments. Chill like Bob Ross when he flew the weights and quit a paper. This ain't Someone said thoughts on Rush Limbaugh. I mean, God bless him. I hope he lives and I hope he beats whatever he's fighting. But I literally know nothing about Rush Limbaugh. I'm not that old. I heard all the propaganda about him, like he's a pillhead or something. That's what they told everybody when I was young. But I missed that whole wave. From what I know, he's one of the most legendary radio, you know, conservative hosts ever, and I hope he beats his illness. But I can't really weigh in on it because I don't know anything about him really. I heard his interview with Trump. That's about it.
This tutorial, so learn something. If you got a company, go earn something. If you an artist, start up and make it worth something. I'm Bob Ross, life is A-OK. And if you got them bad vibes, you can stay away. I'm Bob Ross.
Oh, he's terminal. Well, we'll see what happens. It's not over till it's over. Do I watch MMA? Sometimes. When there's some big fights, I'll try to watch it. Do I like Black Pigeon Speaks? I don't know much about him. Do I like Dan Bongino? Yeah, I don't see everything he says, but I think he's definitely a fighter. He's definitely a good guy. Someone said I love Candace. I recommend her book Blackout. I have it. It's on the shelf, but I have a signed copy, so I got Blackout. Thanks, VNock. Someone said we are all terminal. That's deep. Wow. It's true. Hot yoga? I would do it. I haven't done hot yoga. I've done cold yoga or room temperature yoga, which is regular yoga, but I would do hot yoga. I just hasn't happened. Thoughts on Dave Rubin? I mean, I'm got no problems with Dave. I think he does some good stuff. I don't really see everything he does. I haven't seen stuff in a while, but I think he's done some good interviews and stuff. I haven't really seen what Dave's done in a while. I just haven't caught it, but have I written a book yet? I should be writing now. I always say I'm going to come here for a little bit, and then I come for way too long. I mean, choice of words. But anyway, yeah, I'm writing a book. It's almost done. It's going to be out hopefully by Christmas, but it's not going to be a biography. It's a book about the words you can't use and how they use words like racist, sexist, xenophobic to censor the discussion and push their political agenda while they do exactly what they claim you can't do. So, you know, when a Democratic governor wears a KKK blackface outfit, they don't say anything. But if you even suggest like illegal immigration is illegal, then they call you a racist, even if you're Mexican. So it's like these are the games they play. I'm writing a whole book about that. It's almost done, but this whole election's been crazy. And to be honest, I should probably leave. I'm sticking to this 10-10. I'm done. I'm gone. That's in 9 minutes, and I'm going to write my book tonight. So thank you. What do you think about Newsmax? I think they're taking the place of Fox in a sense of like they're actually doing good reporting, and they have great taste because they've been trying to sign me to a contract for months, or they claim like we're in the negotiation process. So anybody that wants to give me a TV show, clearly they have fantastic taste. So I've liked Newsmax even before everyone started liking Newsmax because they hit me up months ago and said they wanted to sign me to a contract. I played hardball. They were like, how about this? And I'm like, that's not going to work. And then they said, how about this? I said, that's not going to work. And then they said, how about this? I said, that's not going to work. And then they said, how about this? And I said, all right, we could talk. So then we talked. And so we're going back and forth. So if they want to give me a show, it's like clearly they have exquisite taste. And it's no surprise that they're on the rise. All they need is to sign me now. And, you know, I'm going to drop a gem. Try to get one of the best TV shows on the planet. Would I go on Rogan? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to talk. I would love to go on Joe Rogan. He's got one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And, you know, say what you want about him. He could be a little all over the place. But if you compare him to like CNN or something, he gives decent interviews, or, you know, he's like someone who debates, and you know it's a good platform for people to hear different ideas sometimes. So yeah, I would love to go on Joe Rogan and have a conversation, but I can't invite myself on. Just keep to. I mean, I met Joe Rogan one time at like the Comedy Store. I should have asked there, but it was so quick that it was just like, hey, he said hi, I said hi, and then it was what it was. But yeah, I can't just invite myself on though. How did I learn all this? I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question. Probably, you know, over the course of like everything. I don't know. Reading, watching documentaries, watching videos, researching news articles, not just reading the headlines, getting to the core of it, understanding what they're doing. It's been years. I don't know. Of just a lot of different stuff. I can't say there's one thing. Is my book going to be paperback or hardback? I'm probably just going to sell it through Amazon because they pretty much do everything. You know, I hate to say it, but it's the easiest way to sell a book. I don't have like a big deal or anything. So, yeah, I don't know. If Amazon can make hard copy, they'll make hard copy. But whatever they do, I'm not sure how they work. What books do I recommend? Let me see what I have over here. I would say Color, Communism, and Common Sense is fantastic. And I'm going to give you 2 books because they're super short. I don't like to read long books. Like I will, but you look at a book that's like 700 pages, you're like, bro, can you calm down? You know, and then you look at a short book and you feel good about it because you're like, I could read this in a couple days. So Color, Communism, Common Sense is fantastic. It's by Manning Johnson. He's a black communist who left the Communist Party and kind of exposed what they were doing. And it's everything that's happening today. None of this is new. And the same tactics that liberals and communists used in 1940 were the same ones they're using today. So very interesting. I would say to read the Communist Manifesto. I mean, I'm not a communist, but if you want to understand what communism is, instead of hearing what Republicans say about it or what communists say about it, that's a very short book as well. It's only 30, 40 pages. You could probably read it in 2 days. I'm reading How to Lie with Statistics. I'm not done. I'm like halfway done. It's by Darrell Huff from the 1940s that explains how to lie with statistics. So if you're curious of the COVID data, if you're curious of polling and you're wondering why they always lie and they're always wrong, that's a good book to kind of put that in frame of what you don't already know of how they lie with statistics. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's all I'll say for now. I'm reading a few other books, but I'm not, not far enough in them. The Art of War. I've read The Art of War. I have like a mini Art of War book. I don't know if it's the whole thing, but I've read the mini Art of War book. It's interesting. I've read books like The 48 Laws of Power. I've read that before, like years ago. That's interesting as well. Someone said book list. Maybe I'll make a book list like at the end of the year or something, but someone said 1984. Yeah, I've read a little bit of that. I have 1984, but I've only read like 20, 30 pages so far. Someone said the polls are meant to manipulate me. It's already been proven his favorite candidate or another, it'll affect the way people vote. Well, yeah, you could tell with how inaccurate the polls have been the last couple of years. It is definitely a way to, change public perception. And how to lie with statistics really gets into how they use it for advertising. Like when you read something, they say, this is the dentist choice, 9 out of 10 dentists say this. There's so many different ways to conduct studies to get the results that you want. And Bill Gates knows this. Bill Gates told people to read that book a couple years ago. That's how I knew about it. It was on Bill Gates' reading list. And, smart people and people involved in science and such, they know the difference between science and engineering and statistics and reality, and they manipulate it to achieve results. And they know this stuff, but then they use their media friends to tell you that it's not happening. So it's best to know, and understand what they're doing. Is Charlie Kirk a viable 2024 Republican candidate? He's not, because I don't think he's old enough. I believe you have to be like 35 or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to be a certain age to run for president. Actually, let me look that up. I mean, Charlie's very young. He's only like 20 something, but let me see. How old do you have to be president? You have to be at least 35 years old. So Charlie Kirk can't run for at least another 10 years or so. But I don't dislike Charlie. I just like Trump. I trust a lot. It's like, I'll give you just a few people like that everybody loves. Like Nikki Haley. Here's like, I trust Trump. And then the next tier of people I trust. Oh, actually Trump. And then right around him is his son. I like Don Jr. And then right around that's Rand Paul. Ron Paul's son. I trust him. And then you get down to the Charlie Kirks. And then you get down to the, Dan Crenshaw's and Nikki Haley's and then the Shapiros. I don't trust any of these people really. So, I mean, I think he's an impressive kid. He does a lot, but I trust him more than Shapiro. I think he's a bigger patriot than Shapiro. Shapiro's super subversive, but he does good work. Crenshaw, I could not possibly trust less. Nikki Haley, don't trust. So people throw these names out all the time, and I just, I don't have the same trust that I do for Trump. So I don't, if it's Charlie Kirk versus Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, clearly, you're backed in a corner. But I think Charlie does like the president, and I think he's a loyal person in that sense. There's levels to who people are and how they feel, but you can see Charlie Kirk is going to fight for Trump. I respect that. We have our disagreements. There's been things in the past where I feel like they haven't stood up for free speech enough, but he's a fighter for the president. And I think that says something. Shapiro, not. There's certain people that will, not support the president when it's crunch time. And that's one thing I can say about Charlie is he's definitely a fighter for the president, and he definitely is loyal to the president. And in politics, I think loyalty is rare. So, I think there's something to be said there. Someone said Barron 50-50 exactly. What are my thoughts on Andrew Breitbart? Before my time, but I mean, from the videos I've seen, he seemed like a renegade in Republican politics. He seemed like somebody who understood the proper path of where to go. So I think, I don't know enough about him because he was before my time, but from what I've seen, Andrew Breitbart is, definitely a trailblazer of sorts. Someone said Shapiro said he didn't vote for Trump in 2016. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to judge based on how people vote. I really don't trust Ben Shapiro. I really don't. I'm not emotional about it. I think he does good work. I think he did a good job on the Joe Rogan show. I think he does, fantastic conservative work sometimes, but I could not possibly trust Ben Shapiro less. I would never vote for him. I'd vote for him for like governor or something over a Democrat, but as far as like on a stage with Republicans, I don't trust that guy at all. But it is what it is. Have I read Trump's books? I do have The Art of the Deal somewhere. That's interesting you asked, because I have, maybe I don't own The Art of the Deal. I was in Barnes & Noble and I sat there for a few hours and I read The Art of the Deal, like a couple chapters. I got to read the whole thing, but I've read part of it. Why not Crenshaw? All right, I got to go soon because I want to write my book, but I'll get into, I really don't like doing this. I don't like to talk negatively about people, and this doesn't come from an emotional place. It's more like policy and what they've done, but the reason I don't really trust like Shapiro, Kirk, and Crenshaw, but I do trust, I think Charlie is a step above them actually, but they're very subversive when it comes to their loyalty to Israel. I don't have a problem with Israel. I have no problem with Jewish people, but they frame anybody who likes the First Amendment, they call an anti-Semite. So, people ask them tough questions. Like America gives billions of dollars to Israel. America passes anti-First Amendment speech laws. Republicans do, not just Democrats. They're going to probably fully make it hate speech. But Republicans are always selling out the First Amendment to pass these anti-Semitism laws. And if you read the laws, I don't agree with them. I love Jewish people. I don't like speech laws. I don't like the word racist, sexist. These are words that are used to shut people down instead of having an intellectual discussion. Charlie Kirk supports them. Crenshaw supports them. Shapiro not only supports them, he constantly lies about them. He says facts don't care about your feelings, but then he says that it's anti-Semitism to suggest any Jewish person has dual loyalty when some of the biggest donors in U.S. politics absolutely have dual loyalty. It's not my opinion, it's a fact. And Ben Shapiro calls that anti-Semitism. And Ben Shapiro knows damn well the biggest censors on the internet are the ADL and Susan Wojcicki, who's Jewish, and Mark Zuckerberg, who's Jewish, and Sheryl Sandberg, who's Jewish. And they're the ones that are very intolerant to allowing people to say stuff. And one of the biggest things that they use to censor people is the false accusal of anti-Semitism. So these Charlie Kirk and Dan Crenshaw and Shapiro types, they tell you at college campuses they're fighting against cancel culture. They're fighting against, the free speech censors. But in reality, they're all shilling anti-First Amendment legislation that actually takes away your right to say it. It takes away your right to protest Israel on a college campus. Completely unconstitutional, completely anti-First Amendment. And they're adding to cancel culture by setting these false precedents of anti-Semitism, and then people are getting wiped off YouTube and Facebook for exactly what they're saying. These are fake set of rules. You go to the State Department website, you can actually see what the U.S. government defines as anti-Semitism. It's going to be in my book as well. What you think anti-Semitism means and what Charlie Kirk tells you it means and what Ben Shapiro tells you it means and what Dan Crenshaw tells you it means is not what it means by definition on the State Department website. It's not how they're enforcing it. And when Joe Biden is involved and Kamala Harris, who, if you look into her husband and what he's about to do, they're going to pass these laws most likely into law. So you're going to have a hate speech rules like Europe. If you say something about Muslims, you get arrested. If you question anybody Jewish, you get arrested. This is the type of stuff that they're already doing in Europe, and they're going to bring it here. And Charlie Kirk, Shapiro, and Crenshaw did nothing to stop it, nothing to fight it. In fact, they laid the groundwork for Democrats to come in and pass these laws. So this is why I don't like them, is because they're not First Amendment warriors at all. They've sold out the First Amendment, they've lied about it, and they've smeared any right-winger as a racist and an anti-Semite who warned people all last year that they were doing this, and then you lose your First Amendment right this year. You can't protest the lockdown. How come? Well, if you don't have free speech for everybody, you don't have free speech. If you don't have the right to protest anything, you don't have the right to protest. We've always known if you give it up for one, you give it up for all. And Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Dan Crenshaw, and all these neocon boomer Zionists, even when they're in their 20s, I still consider them boomers because they have the mind of a boomer. They sold out the First Amendment. If you can't protest Israel on a college campus, now you can't protest the lockdown. You have to fight for all the First Amendment or you don't have it at all. So this is why I really don't like these people. It's nothing emotional. It's nothing personal. I compliment them all the time about what good work you do. But if you're a conservative patriot and you don't stand up for the First Amendment and you support anti-First Amendment legislation, you're not a patriot and you're not a First Amendment advocate or purist. Actually, you're exactly the opposite. And this is what they do because a lot of the big money they get is from people who are pro-Israel. And a lot of these organizations, it's like not being an intersectionality pronoun where if you're left-wing and you don't put your pronouns in your bio, they excommunicate you. It's the same thing on the right wing. If you don't worship Israel to the point where you're willing to sell out the First Amendment for Israel and for Jewish money and interests, they consider you an anti-Semite on the right wing. They consider you a racist, and the Shapiro types and the Kirk types do everything they can to blacklist you, to silence you, to censor you, and to turn conservative opinion against you. So everybody thinks you're this anti-Jewish person, when in reality what you really are is a First Amendment purist. And thousands of Jews agree with me, and this isn't an anti-Jewish statement. It's a pro-First Amendment statement. It's just like if I think that you should be allowed to criticize immigration, I'm not anti-Muslim or anti-Hispanic. I'm part Hispanic, but I'm just pro-discussion. It's a cop-out to be like, you're racist. That ends the discussion. You're sexist. Ends the discussion. You're a xenophobe. Ends the discussion. You're an anti-Semite. Ends the discussion. These are ways for stupid people to act smart and to smash out their competition. So this is the long-winded version of why I don't trust these people, because they've proven that they're not to be trusted. And are they better than AOC? Of course. Are they better than other Republican candidates? No question. Are they good speakers? Some of them suck at speaking, but they just keep speaking everywhere. But in general, they're impressive. They go on The View and do a good job, but are they trustworthy? No. Do they believe in the First Amendment? No. Are they willing to give it up? Yes. And when you give it up for some, do you give it up for all? Absolutely. So I don't trust them for that reason. I think they're in some ways either really dishonest or intellectual lightweights, posing as these intellectual genius heavyweights. And the reason that you think they're so much smarter than everyone else is because they blacklist and censor and destroy any right-winger who says opposite, and those right-wingers who say the stuff that they won't say are getting kicked off YouTube faster than normal conservatives under the guise of anti-Semitism. And the Charlie Kirks and the Shapiros are not bending over saying, they're not anti-Semites, let's keep them on and let's have the discussion of free speech. They're calling them anti-Semites. So they're falsely labeling people anti-Semites and racists, and then they get kicked off social media for being anti-Semitic and racist, and then the Charlie Kirks and Shapiros make all this, money going around to college universities telling people how First Amendment they are. They're all frauds, and, I forgive, but I don't forget. I have the memory like an elephant, and I'm not, trying to be rude or disrespectful about it, but if you don't stand up for the First Amendment in this country, what are you really doing? Why? You need to learn at a certain point, and they are learning. And the people that they try to blacklist and excommunicate are getting more popular on DLive and getting more popular on BitChute. And when they get banned off certain social media, they're getting bigger than the Ben Shapiros and the Charlie Kirks. And Donald Trump is really the only one who can unite everybody. He unites from the Nick Fuentes crowd to the Charlie Kirk crowds to the moderate crowds to the boomer crowds to the Cruz crowds. Trump is the only one who could do that. Charlie Kirk cannot do this. Dan Crenshaw cannot do this. Nikki Haley cannot do this. Rand Paul's maybe could do this, but probably not. No one else could pull this off. So if you think there's just going to be an easy route for like a Charlie Kirk or Dan Crenshaw 2024, you got a long way coming, because millions, if not tens of millions of people don't trust them. And they need to earn their trust, not by blacklisting, not by censoring, but by actually allowing these discussions. And a lot of these discussions that they write off are not crazy, are not hateful. They're really what's going on. They're factual. They're, mathematical. And, it's a total cop-out. And, that's why I don't trust them. And once again, before I leave, I have to say this a bunch of times, but it's like, this is not a controversial statement. Even Jimmy Dore will say on his show a lot, they used to allow the most egregious groups to peacefully protest 10, 15 years ago. Because if you don't allow the most egregious groups in America to peacefully protest, you lose your right to peacefully protest for everybody. When you're Republican and you pass an anti-First Amendment, like anti-Semitism bill that doesn't allow you to protest Israel or question them or say it in school, you're losing your free speech. This is how it goes. They complain all the time, why does Louis Farrakhan have a Twitter? Why does David Duke have a Twitter? Well, now they don't have Twitters. And guess what? Now you're not going to have a Twitter. This is how free speech works. It's not this game of, well, you persecute ours, we'll persecute yours. Well, we're going to fight racism and sexism, censorship, but we're going to add to the, anti-Semitism, then you're not helping, because anti-Semitism is the number one thing that these groups are lobbying to censor. So you can't fight big tech censorship while you're adding to the discussion and the conversation. And this is what all these neocon Zionist boomer type Republicans have done. And if the problem with the neocon Zionist boomer ideology is not, in my opinion, is not even the fact that they're a Zionist. I'm not knocking their worshiping of Israel. I'm knocking the fact that they prioritize it over the American Constitution. I like Poland, but I don't prioritize Poland over America. I like Italy, but I don't say that you're not allowed to criticize Italy or protest on a college campus for Italy, because that's anti-First Amendment. You could protest the Democrats, you could protest the Republicans, you could protest all this, but you can't protest Israel. It's because they're Zionists, and Zionists prioritize Israel over the First Amendment, and that's totally not conservative. So this is why there's a huge, movement against what they're doing, not because people are mean, because they actually prioritize America and the First Amendment over what they prioritize. Someone said, read Shapiro's book. I don't need to read his subversive book. I watch what he says. He doesn't believe in the First Amendment. He claims to, and then he thinks the truth is anti-Semitism and cries about anti-Semitism all the time because he's not honest or smart enough to have a conversation about free speech and trends and demographics of what's really going on and really happening. And he thinks the truth is like anti-Semitic hate speech. So how can you have your slogan be facts don't care about your feelings, and then literally saying, well, facts don't care about your feelings unless it involves my ethnicity and my religion, then feelings matter more than facts, and it's hate speech anti-Semitism to suggest what's going on is really going on. This is not a free speech warrior. This is why he didn't vote for Trump in 2016. He's a very little sneaky subversive guy. He's the least trustworthy person, but he does good work, and he's got, good speeches about being principled and such. And, he's very persuasive. So, I applaud him. There's a lot of stuff he does. He's better than Nate Silver or Don Lemon, but, there's levels to it. So God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. That's what it is. That's the truth. And have a beautiful night. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to get to write my book. And if you want, I don't have these hats, but I have some shirts at dreamrare.com. It's in my bio if you want to check the link, but there's black hats available and they're going to be sold out soon. That's what I'm told. So if you want a black hat, you got to get it somewhat soon. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day, and I'll be back soon.